Morning, folks. I just want to go over your AP testing expectations. They've given us what I think are comforting and encouraging guidance, and so I'm going to use this guide packet that the College Board has sent us and just run through it as quickly as I can to try to prepare you for test day. So the first thing you need to know is that you're going to receive 2 days before the exam. Whichever exam, if it was a Wednesday exam, you'll receive it Monday. If it's a Friday exam, you'll receive it Wednesday. 2 days before the exam date and time, you'll receive an e-ticket. It will come to the email that you have that's connected to your College Board account. And so it's really important you have that email correct, and or it will also be available in your myapcollegeboard.org, your MyAP Classroom account that you're accessing to do the assignments I'm giving you. You can't transfer it to anybody else. You shouldn't try to share it with anybody else, or it'll be a security violation. And if you're somehow not registered at this point, it's unfortunate, but they will not be able to register anyone. So if you don't receive that e-ticket 2 days before, you're out of luck. I'm sorry, even for the June exam. But I think Ms. Pratt and Ms. Bradley have gotten everyone registered, so that shouldn't be an issue. Want to point out the times. Our first testers of my students will be the Physics C folks. They'll be testing the very first day of AP tests, Monday, May 11th at 11 a.m. And that's for the mechanics. And for those of them taking electricity and magnetism, May 11th at 1 p.m., 2 hours after the beginning of the mechanics. Chemistry will be testing Thursday at 1, and physics will be testing Thursday at 3. So that's May the 14th. Okay. So there is a provision for makeups, but that's only if in case you just there was some glitch that didn't allow you to take the test on the May date. And so I would warn you that in the past it's always been that the follow-up test, the makeup test, was always slightly harder than the original. So there's no use putting it off. Plus, they're going to have more testing conflicts, although they probably designed the schedule to avoid most test conflicts. But I don't know, maybe the mechanics and government people might have a conflict there. I'm not sure. But if somehow one of these technology glitches happens and it's detectable, and you submit your request for the ticket, just by the way, they don't have to approve you. They can deny you for the retake based on your reason for not taking the test. So it's got to be some legitimate glitch that prevents that they approve of for you to even retake the test. So all these tests, of course, are going on worldwide, same time, relative to Greenwich Mean Time, Standard Time. And I like this page. This is just telling you that it won't be any easier or harder to make a 3, 4, or 5 this year on the AP test. It is all free response. That may seem daunting to us, but and no multiple choice. But they're going to analyze the exam questions for difficulty and score accordingly, and so it will still be, they expect the same percentage of 3s, 4s, and 5s as always, although it's not curved to produce that result. It's just that they're saying the difficulty will be accounted for. So it's going to be important that you have a good setup for taking the test on the exam day. You're going to need to have it quiet and have your space to be able to access all your documents you have out during the exam. And I'll be able to review the exam basically to check for cheating. So that'll be like 2 weeks after you take it. So these exam questions that you're going to take, they're going to be taken inside of a web browser, and you can take them either on a laptop or desktop or a tablet or a phone. And so they have 3 different ways you can give your answers back to the College Board. One is to copy and paste a typed response. One is, and that would be like if you have a window open and you type, the response to question 1, part A, little I, and then just copy and paste it into the box for 1A, part little I. Here you would be typing one long response where you'd put in 1A little I and 1A little I, and 1B little I, and so forth, and type it all in one document and then just submit that document at the end. And then the other option is to handwrite everything on just plain 8.5 by 11 lined paper and take a picture of it on your phone, which I think is going to be the best option for most of us. But we'll talk about that in a second. So for your first option, you're going to use Google Docs or Microsoft Word. This is for copy and paste option. You're going to have to type your AP ID and initials at the top of the response, and then you're going to have to submit all your answers inside the boxes in the exam browser window. So you have to use Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or Edge. You can't use any older browsers. No, they all need to be updated and have minimal plugins. Grammarly won't work as a plugin, so you're going to have to unplug Grammarly for sure. So they suggest you having 2 windows side by side while you're using this option, and so that you can just easily copy and paste. Even if you're attaching a document, they still probably want you having 2 windows open side by side, one with the test in the browser and the other with your word processor. And each document that you're going to submit has to have your AP ID and initials at the top. So AP ID and initials are important in every option here for taking the test. Then you can use Word documents, PDF. You can submit a PDF or a text document, or I don't know what ODT is, but maybe it's the Apple version. Anyway, you're going to have to save your files in such a way that you can upload them into the browser. So you won't want to include any images, and you're going to have to you should probably save things onto your computer as you're going. Set up auto save. Okay. If you're going to do handwritten, which I think is going to be the best option for us for physics and chemistry because of the formulas and derivations and equations and things like that we have to write, you're going to need to have each page labeled, and I would do this before the exam date and time, or before the exam time starts. I would want my AP ID and initials at the top of every page, and number the pages at the bottom, at the top of each page. So number them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're only allowed a maximum of 5 pages. So you're going to take one photo of each page and submit those through the test window, test browser window. You're going to attach them, and then you're going to, what I haven't been mentioning, I guess, is that in every case, you have to click submit. In every case, look at this, click submit, click submit, click submit. So you have to get everything submitted before the end of the 5 minutes at the end of each testing window. Okay, so scrolling on down here. If you have, through the counseling office, some documented and approved accommodations that they're already aware of, College Board is already aware of them, and you may use whatever assistive devices you need during the test. Again, requesting a makeup exam, there will be a form that you can send out, that you can use to email them, but they will review that form and either approve or deny it the week of May 25th. So, and you're going to have to get that done within 48 hours of your original exam date if for some reason you really couldn't complete the exam because of some serious glitch on exam day. Okay. The exam screen is going to guide you through step by step on test day from the moment that you get your e-ticket value entered when you click on it. So we want to have everything as prepared as possible ahead of time. that we can, and that's why we're talking about putting APIDs and initials and page numbers on things before we start the exam. Okay, so let's talk about what to do on exam day, or prior to the exam, sorry. Make sure a College Board can contact you. Make sure you've updated your email if you haven't already done that. I think Ms. Bradley, Ms. Pratt were working on that a couple weeks ago, so hopefully that's all good. You're going to try to take care of your which device you're going to use, your laptop, tablet, desktop, and or phone. The big deal is that Monday, May 4th, there's going to be a demo sent out. Each one of us will have access to it. That'll be my first access as well. I'm going to mess with it and try to figure out what's going on with it. And that'll be the time to test your method of taking the test and your method of submitting the answers. And so I really think we're going to end up writing and taking pictures with our phone. But one of the things they've pointed out is that if you're using the phone, it's difficult to scroll up and down and see all the parts of the question. The guy who gave this presentation to us said that it would be possible for you to, but not easy, I think, for you to open up the exam on your laptop or desktop and also your phone. I don't know if that's really going to be true, but you should really try it probably on that Monday, May 4th, with this coming Monday, May 4th, when we get the demo in our hands, or on our devices. Because if that would be the best, that would be the most advantageous way to work on it, would be to be able to put the test up on some larger screen device like a tablet, laptop, or desktop, and handwrite on paper and submit through the phone. So, but we need to test that on Monday, May 4th. He says that we can try it multiple times, so that means you can try it, by each of the three methods, and even try bringing up the exam on both devices at the same time. And it's going to be really critical. It'll be some generic test apparently, and you'll just try it out and submit, and we've got to make sure that the submitting works. That's the biggest deal, because if you can't submit your answers, then you definitely won't get credit. Okay, so then they're going to have there's some extra documents that you want to have prepared. We'll talk about those in a second. And then 2 days before the exam, as we said, you'll get your e-ticket. Okay, so it's critical that you make sure that this is all correct, your email address with the College Board and so forth, but I'm pretty sure it is. And again, you're going to choose your device based on what you have available to you and what works best when you try the demo. So yeah, they're suggesting have everything pre-formatted, right? Have your document up, have your APID and initials on it. That's what you would do for if you're typing. And if you're handwriting, you would have your 5 pieces of lined white paper, or unlined if you want, and then 8.5 by 11s, and use dark black or blue ink. Write darkly and clearly, because the photos need to give the readers the ability to decipher what you wrote. And you're going to want to have them all numbered at the top, pages 1 through 5 for question 1 and 1 through 5 for question 2. Have your APID at the top, and also your initials at the top of each page before the exam even starts. Okay, so again, I've been mentioning this demo. We're going to all try it. It'll be available at this website on Monday, May 4th. I think we've hit all of this before. Okay, so let's go on down to the sciences page. These formula sheets are all the ones that I've given you this year that you've used on every test. If you don't have a copy available somehow, you can go to references and guides, and so here's the website that has references and guides, and I've posted a link to it in the AP exam specifics for 2020. I know this is chemistry, but it's also there in Physics 1 and Physics C. I didn't put the keyboarding tip sheet for chemistry in the other two, but all the rest of that's there. So you can just click on references and guides there to go get this page, which will then allow you to click and download PDFs of all these things. Now, there's this keyboarding tip sheet for 2020 AP chemistry exams, and I have that here, and it's what makes me think I would rather write, because they're advising you to type out DELTA instead of the symbol delta, and degrees instead of the degree symbol, and new instead of new, and so forth. All these things that they're having, doing all your math and equations kind of in an awkward way, using equal signs instead of arrows for the equations, not doing any subscripts, and when you end up with a T-chart, here's what they're wanting you to do. I don't know. Anyway, you're free to download it. I have it there in the chemistry folder there for AP exams specific for 2020, and you can use that if you're going to type. Okay, so you can have anything out you want. Just make sure that if you have any notes that you've prepared with other people, that they're already downloaded to your device before you get started, because downloading during the exam will be a security violation, and they're going to be very strict on security. They're going to be checking social media, and if they anything they detect that is found to be plagiarism or collaboration with someone else during the test, it's going to result in canceling your scores. So what are we doing? We're looking for that demo May 4th to give it a try, and then after that, besides all the work I'm giving you in Schoology, we're going to be waiting for our e-ticket 2 days before the exam. Another thing they have is they recommend that you have this checklist printed out and go through and make sure you check all the boxes on the checklist. So here's what that checklist looks like, and again, I have the checklist. I'll put a link for the checklist up here too. Okay, so here's the exam day checklist. You can download it yourself and print it, and it tells you, all these things that you need to be checking to make sure you're ready for the exam. I think it's excellent, and you should have that out on the tabletop or wherever you're working on your AP exam on AP exam day. Just make sure you've ticked off all the boxes before you get the test started. Okay, format of the test. We are in the sciences. We all get this format on the right side of this screen. We get 30 minutes, 30 minutes before the test starts, we need to be checking in, and then there will be a timer counting down to start time. Once the timer reaches 0 and starts, then you've got 25 minutes to read question 1 with all its subparts and everything and develop a response. I'm going to recommend that you scan it for the parts that you can best answer, and kind of quickly learn to practice quickly reading and getting a big overview of the whole question before you get started, so that you don't type answers to parts that are further down, at a part 2 answer that belongs to part 3 or something like that. Don't you want to have the overview of the whole question before you get going, and then but quickly, and then attack it. So at the end of the 25 minutes for question 1, there will be, your timer will turn to red and start counting down from 5 to 0, and at 0, if you haven't submitted that response, 0 credit is what you'll get for question 1. So they emphasized over and over again, it's more critical that you get the answers you have prepared at the end of 25 minutes submitted than it is that you try to get every answer complete. They're apparently giving maybe more questions than you could possibly answer in the time, so you're just going for it. It's like it's a race, and you're just getting down everything you can as clearly as you can, and then when the 25 minutes are up, it's priority. Get what you have submitted. Then it's going to count down to 0, and as soon as it counts down to 0, it's going to start question 2. And no matter when you submit, if you submit early or whatever, it's still going to make you wait out till those 5 minutes are up, and then we'll start question 2. And so you'll have 15 minutes. This time it'll be a shorter question to develop a response, and then again at the end of that 15 minutes, your timer will turn to red. You're going to need to get your response submitted. Okay, these are good advice here. It's good if you could remove all distractions on the day of the test during that hour at least. Enable do not disturb or quiet setting on your device. Let parents, guardians, siblings, roommates, whatever, know that you're testing, so please don't disturb. Make sure your device is powered up, plugged in. And if there's limited internet bandwidth, it might be good to make sure that especially no one else is playing Fortnite or watching movies on Netflix or something like this, because it might eat up your bandwidth and affect your ability to see your exam questions and submit them and so forth. So you would try to get cooperation from the members of your household to not be eating up the bandwidth while you're taking the test. And then have your checklist and any required documents next to you. You can't incorporate any work that isn't your own. They have sophisticated software to detect cheating and so forth, and so they're going to be scanning your answers for plagiarism, so it won't work to copy and paste from websites and so forth. And if you're caught cheating, it's serious. They can report it to college admissions offices and cancel your scores. So let's not try that. Again, 30 minutes before the exam, you need to check in, and the first exam question will automatically appear, and you should not refresh your browser. Okay. Since the exams are divided into parts, it's very important, especially if you're handwriting, that you designate clearly for the reader's benefit what part you're working on. Let's say you were working on A, you had no idea for B, and you were going to skip it. I would write B in there and leave a blank space and go on to C, and just make sure you're working on the right part of the question in each case. They're saying here again, Grammarly the plugin has to be disabled in your browser for you to be able to type your answers into the exam. Or to even access it, actually. So the exam won't even run if Grammarly's plugin is installed, so you have to disable it. Yeah, and they're saying that you won't be able to move on to question 2 until the time is fully elapsed for question 1. Okay, so this is what I've been saying about the timer switching to red for the last 5 minutes. And it's important you watch the time, but they are conveniently putting a timer, apparently, in the test window in the browser. So that's very nice. You can have your own separate timer as well. You not only, so in each case you're attaching or pasting something into the browser window where the exam is. But it's not enough to paste. You're going to have to also click submit. So make sure you click submit. All right. If your browser or device crashes, just restart and click the e-ticket to get back into the exam. If you feel that the temporary disruption affected your performance, you'll be able to do the makeup request. They say, tip, during the exam, don't refresh your browser or hit the back arrow. And also, there's no one at the customer service centers, so it's not worth even trying to call. It'll just give you a message saying to go apply for your makeup request online. These scores are going to be scored as usual, and I think there's some very encouraging statements here from various universities about how happy they will be to accept your scores. And so, final thing here, they're saying make sure you've got the right browsers, make sure you've disabled plugins, and we'll give it a go on Monday in the demo. Particular to the chemistry exam, here's what they're going to have. You can pause and read this on your screen. That's what's going to happen on the chemistry exam. For the physics C mechanics, they've got 25 minutes focusing on representation and so forth. It's going to be 60% of your exam score, and question 2 is going to be 15 minutes, and it's going to be on experimental design, graphical analysis, and identifying experimental error. Also, physics 1, again, same format, 25 minutes to read and respond to question 1, and 5 minutes to upload, 15 minutes for 2, and 5 minutes to upload. Question 1 is 60%. You've got this qualitative, quantitative translation on question 1, which means maybe looking at graphics, looking at math stuff, and turning it into words, or taking words and descriptions and turning them into equations or graphs or charts. Although you're not going to have to compose graphs or charts, you're going to have to be able to convert between the verbal and the mathematical and the physics reasoning for that kind of answer. And then there's going to be a paragraph argument short answer on the question 2. So there's your information about what's going to be on the exam.